Hey guys, Dr. Mina Ali here. A moment in diversity and inclusion for today. I was feeling a little Wakandan today, so I figured I'd come to you in a nice little garb, but I did want to at least answer a few questions. In diversity and inclusion, we always seem to have a question about a culture or a difference in a people. And this is because we're innately curious. When something doesn't look like us or doesn't favor us, we always internally ask two questions. One is why, and the other is what makes them do that and their, I guess, customs and traditions. And I think when you understand what it is that diversity brings, it is not an alienation. It is a unique difference in what is brought in the same way. Let's look at that for a minute. Okay, so we tend to have people that are knowledgeable and integral about what they do and how they do it. But a lot of times we don't have people that are intentionally doing things. For example, when we were growing up, ancestrally as a people, we always had a day of the week that was our religious day of observation. Now, of course, we prayed throughout the week, but there was always one day that it was kind of set aside for us to worship and fellowship and have congregational prayer. This was because it was intended for us to meet and greet and be one with each other, kind of catch up on what happened during the week and allow us to be together once more. If nothing else, to find out what each tribe is doing and how they are manifesting their truth in their selves, how they're keeping their capacity, how they're managing the day to day. But at the end of that day, there was always food. Always food, always a great meal, a feast that was cooked by the elders, those that were savvy and knowledgeable in the ways of the culinary arts, and those that were understanding as to what food really meant to us. It was comfort. It was something that, beyond understandings of anything else that we did that week, that was one thing we agreed upon. Now, when we traveled into different lands and we were amongst different people, we noticed that their food subsidies were different. However, in every tradition, in each culture, there was always a meal fixed once a week that was always something to celebrate. In the African American community, it was always on Sunday. In the Christian community, we have Saturday prayer, or those that worship and fellowship on Saturday. In the Islamic community, there's Friday prayers. And these are days that are set aside again to show the fellowship in what we are and who we are as a people. And all of these traits are always culminated with food. This is because this is a unionizer. This is what my grandmother would call a union folk. And union folk was just that. They were people that would get together and they would cook meals and they would share amongst themselves and then bring what was left to their families. And this is so we got a taste of other cultures and traditions, and we learned other people. Now, it could be within the African American community. It could have been the Latino side. It could have been the Caribbean side. It could have been the French Canadian side. But each tradition in the African American community brought a different taste, a different twang to the chicken, a different spread on the salad. But all of it was designed to help us to understand that that was the common denominator. So if nothing else for today, in this diversity and inclusion moment, understand that just because something looks different doesn't mean that it is. It could be the same thing that you've been receiving, only wrapped in a different way. I hope that helped you today. Until we meet again, understand that you are the greatest example of what we were needing in this world.